got some stuff prepared. The goal is going to be to show you basically like one or two things from each of the main positions. So this seminar is going to be like a cross grip seminar, meaning whether I'm grabbing like the pant leg or grabbing a sleeve. And I'm going to show, for each position, I'm going to show one nogi and one gi variation, just in case you guys prefer nogi, so for whatever it may be. So from standing, there's two really easy takedowns that we can do with our cross grip. Can I use you? So when people make a grip on you, you can either let the grip stay or you can break the grip off. Either way, no matter what, because it's his right hand, my right hand has to grab. So I can either leave it on or I can break it, but no matter what, my right hand has to keep. And then I'm gonna turn and almost use my chest and my shoulder to like push on the side of the wrist. And then I'm gonna either grab the belt or just the upper back. If you're really long and tall like me, you can reach around and grab their lat. But once I make my connection, I'm basically gonna walk in front of my partner and then just extend my leg, and you have a very simple takedown, okay? So all you're doing is falling where one knee is bent and one leg is straight, right? So like you're doing this stretch, and then you just straighten the leg. And it's literally the exact same technique in nogi, but when I'm here, I grip, and then I change and I grab the belt, or I could break it and then change and grab the belt. And as I circle in front of my partner, as I'm walking, I then just extend so that my heel basically drops, like right next to his ankle. As I walk, I extend, and we have a very simple takedown. In nogi, whenever people grab my head, all I'm gonna do is shoulder bump the wrist, and the second I clear, I'm not gonna go to the traditional Russian. I'm gonna grab the neck and I'm gonna drop the exact same way. So when he grabs my neck, I bump as I grab the wrist. There's my cross grip. Boom, I grab the neck and I drop. And if he doesn't fall, if he falls, that's fine. If he doesn't, which most people don't, what ends up happening is they have to step over my foot as I drop, and then we wrestle immediately around that corner. It's an easy way to get people to kind of step and bump themselves up and come off balance. So as we go here, I bump, and now I cup the neck, and now I fall the same way, but because of the less connection, now we just stand up with our single, and now we're wrestling around the corner, okay? So in the gi, you can just keep it there, boom, boom, and drop. In nogi, you pop the head off your shoulder, and then you immediately drop, grabbing the neck, okay? One gi and one nogi variation. Any questions for those? Yeah.
When you're stepping across, so like in the nogi variation.
Yeah.
So you get kind of like a Russian sort of, you're still stepping that way to get me moving, or is that?
Yeah, and it's to get me ready to dive on the far leg. Because in the nogi variation, while you grab my head on this side, when I pop it off, I'm doing this because I'm sprinting towards this leg. You see what I mean?
Okay.
A lot of times I'll do that so hard they'll fall when I pull on their neck. But if they don't, I'm just thinking, right, just like we do our shots during our warm-ups, you're dropping, picking up the leg and coming up. Similarly, as I dump, I'm just immediately like coming to my knees and then wrestling on that single leg over that side. Questions? No. All right, let's give it a shot on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so the goal is to reach for the far leg. So if he grabs my neck here, when I rush in, I'm gonna be pulling on his neck, and I'm gonna be doing a single leg to this leg. See that? See how he like stepped over to stay standing? And I'm almost more so like I talked about it a little bit when I talked about snap downs one night when I was out here. You almost want to kind of like pass their head over. So you can even kind of like as I do the Russian part here, I can almost like as I'm like chasing. You see what I mean? You can almost like redirect their eyes, and now they can't react to the single leg, which is great because I hate getting sprawled on. So in the gi, there's very, very, very powerful passing sequences with this grip, okay? I can roll my knuckles after I make the grip, and I can look for this collar, and it's very, very, very difficult for people to retain guard when I have this gripping sequence. I can either push and turn towards the legs and force it into like a really deep leg drag, and then you use my forearm to lock it in, or you can actually kind of pull on both of these grips and like work yourself into reverse knee on belly or knee on belly. So when I step in, I get my my cross grip on the pant leg here, and even if he shrimps and kind of turns towards this side, this grip is so powerful for dropping people out of the way and really making sure that that front leg, I can turn palm up and extend with this knuckles down style of gripping. So once I make this grip, my whole thought is how do I get into this space? I can either force myself forward into the space, or you can actually run sideways to force the leg sideways. So once I make the grip, I can either come kind of more in front, or I can kind of spam my weight back towards the feet. But it's both off of this grip, okay? And a lot of people aren't used to playing guard with a cross grip in their hand, meaning when I grab same side and he grabs my sleeve, spider, lasso, all this stuff. When I grab cross, there's not a lot of good things he can do here because I have this opposite side leg. Even if he pummels this over the top into like a lasso, I'm in the same exact passing sequence where I hit my long step. So people aren't good, they're not used to playing guard when you have the cross style of grip. Again, you can do this, you can catch the sleeve and back up and deadlift people. There's a lot of options from there. So again, just like standing, you don't want to just collar tie. That's what it feels like when I walk up and make grips and he makes grips. So the cross grip is one of our examples. So we're here. You can come underneath and grab the pants and turn people. You can grab the collar and run into the legs. Or you can do more of a long step where once I make the grip, I'm almost dropping my elbow and my hip at the same time as I have that collar. So as I reach in, I catch the collar and now I'm here. And now I'm just forcing the legs down into the side. And again, it's not even necessarily that it's such a strong grip for me, it's such a bad position for him. Okay, two things in jiu-jitsu, I want to make myself stronger or my opponent weaker. This is an opponent weaker one because it's just hard to play guard off that position. Once they have the cross grip, if someone does it to me, I have to break it. There's not a good sequence I can do once I make that connection, okay? So once I have this, I can pull and walk and aggressively try to pin the far thigh with my shin. And I can do that as I grab the belt, the pants, the collar, anything by walking towards the feet, forcing the leg this way. And you can do this even if I walked up to positions like De La Hiva. Boom, I walked into his De La Hiva, he starts locking it in. And now I'm here, and now I force the foot over the top, and now I'm just pinning. And I'm just using my shin to go sideways now. Again, off that initial cross grip on the pant leg. Or I can just do it from open guard. Boom, I'm here, I'm stepping in, and I'm locking in that position. Or we can long step. Cross grip, collar, and I'm dropping, and now I'm closing all that space, okay? Any questions on that? Leg drag is sideways, long step is forward, yeah.
So on that pant grip, can you set up like a back take from there that would be clean? Because the way you elevated his hips, he's kind of already turning.
It's in the similar position that I talked about the other night, where I talked about stack passing people, which is when people are on their back, the sequence is feet, knee, and then I have this type of grip, and you can forcibly stack people. Same thing, I could leg drag right here, or yes, I could stack him up, and then I could look to dive and take the back. Again, off that cross grip on the pant leg.
And on shelving that leg, like what are some things that you can do once that leg? Because it looks like you're shelving that leg with that cross grip.
You talking about this?
Yeah.
So usually the goal is to apply crazy pressure. He wants to turn his hips towards me, shrimp out, and get his shins between me and him and his feet. So when you leg drag people, the goal is to take your shin and your knee across the far thigh, and now he can't get up. And now we're here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah.
If I make grips first, which ones are you okay with and which ones are you stripping?
As the bottom player, I just can't have this foot and this hand initially connect to this arm. Because once you create like a spider style grip on one side, it makes it a lot harder to now try to play like in reverse to do this. So I would be breaking. That's why my initial contact is here. And then off this initial contact, now we're playing. Yeah, because I'm not worried about this at all. I'll long step here and start using my head to break through. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, it's either you're going forward or backwards. You're long stepping or you're running into the legs trying to leg drag people really aggressively, okay? Questions on the gi, because there's two options here with this. And then I'm gonna show the no gi right now. Any questions on the gi? Does that make sense? Cross grip, collar long step, or heavy leg drag, okay? In no gi, it's the same thing, but my hand has to be upside down. And a lot of the popular guys right now, stylistically, it's this to start, putting one knee down, and then even more so, they'll stomp on people's legs. But I really need this. This is the important part. Palm up, pinning the leg down. Palm up, and now we're here on the head. And now if he doesn't do anything, I circle and it's a free pass. If I do this and he pummels his leg over my body, now it's a really deep leg drag to the far side. It's the exact same thing. It's basically, you're circling like you would be doing a long step, but in no gi, you can't just throw a long step in because you're gonna lose connection. So all you're doing is pinning the leg down, pinning the ankle, and clubbing the head as you circle. If they don't do anything, you're just gonna go right to north-south in the attack. We saw this a lot at the CJI with the Tackett brothers. Here, head, and we circle. And you can start this sequence by just initially pinning, and you can even stomp on people. And now you have that whole sequence. Yes, because I just need the leg pinned briefly. Because now it doesn't matter. It's either this leg will not get involved and you're just gonna go to north-south, or it'll get overly involved and now you're gonna leg drag on the far side. Pinning, pinning, head. Circle, 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 circle. If this comes over, we bite on the leg and the shoulder and we turn. And now we dive to the far side. All the AOJ guys in no-gi pass like that. That's the style. It's a cross grip pass and the head. If the leg comes up, you dive and you cut the corner. And you can stomp on people's legs. So when I'm down, go ahead and stand up. When I'm down, you can initially pin and step on my leg, and now really make sure that you have a palm up style grip, with this hand, because it's a cross grip. And then this one goes to the head. And then if they frame and they start doing this, he dives. He dives his head under the leg. Yeah, now he's diving to the far side. If I don't frame and do that, he's just gonna pass the north-south. Okay?
So why is the palm up grip then more important? Because I'm thinking like, it's more like a seat clamp, right?
So mainly because when I'm here, when he does, when people do this, it feels a lot easier to drag and to wrestle. And when he goes palm up, he's like helping his shoulder turn the corner.
Oh, so you get that extension.
Yes, exactly. When he goes palm down, turn your hand around, his like elbow is like pointing out. So this becomes like a much higher threat for people to just grab the tricep and wrestle up.
Okay.
Especially in no-gi, you're not grabbing the pant leg.
Yeah.
So if you just put your hand there, right? If you look, when I go palms up, my elbows tuck. Palms down, they flare.
Okay.
So when you go palm up, you're hiding your elbow, allowing you to still put weight on your hand and circle while you grab the head.
Gotcha.
So that's what that palm up grip is for. Again, both of them are literally the exact same thing. It's, you're passing in front of the body with a cross grip, either way, or you're passing with a leg drag.
Gotcha.
In no-gi, it's just a diving leg drag, which is under the leg. Cool, cool. Any questions on those two variants?
You mentioned in no-gi, you're not doing the long step falling to your hip.
Correct, because you don't want to make space. You want to bury your head and get as close as you can to side control and north-south.
Because they'll kick out and recircle legs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Questions, questions, questions? Gi and no-gi. Two variations, but it's basically the same pass in both. They're just altered for gi and for no-gi. Both with a cross grip. Cool, cool? All right, let's get it. On three. 1, 2, 3. That's the same thing as the whole, like, the hardest thing about wearing toe shoes is like telling people about how great they are. It's that whole debacle. Okay, real quickly, I don't want to go too in depth on this part, but when I'm playing guard, right, there is a thing that I can do with cross gripping, and for the most part, it's It's the same in gi and nogi, so it's elbow and wrist, or it's like spider grip and elbow. And it's either I'm pulling myself, and if he postures really hard as I pull, it'll pull me under him, and then you can just fire into leg locks. If he postures really hard backwards, I can just pull myself close, and now I'm gonna punch with both my hands as I open my feet, and you have a really stupid dummy sweep. Or you can wrestle as you like kind of aggressively like treat this like a standing arm drag where you kick the far knee, but it's all off of this sleeve and elbow, and then you just wrestle right here. And if you wanna be a jerk, I know there's like a lot of weird wrestling things like ball and chain and a bunch of other terms. In jiu-jitsu, this is very dominant, putting the sleeve under the leg and standing up with this, because they can't really do anything, and you could just you could just do whatever you want. But it's all from the cross grip like this and the elbow. And I do this in nogi a lot. Even if this is just like, if I wanted to just grab a leg, but his hands are in front of me and I just reach for the legs, you can get like underhooked, flying guillotine, a bunch of stuff. So my initial contact is whatever ends up touching me, I touch. So if it's their head, it's their head. If it's their wrist, it's their wrist. And then you can find this just to do this aggressive pull. And now it's like, oh cool, I wanted leg locks. And then you pull yourself all the way underneath for single leg X. Or, oh cool, now I'm gonna push his forearm into his stomach as I flare my feet. Or you could just tap the knee as you kind of pull forward, and now you're just wrestling on the corner. They're very, very simple to do. It's just getting used to this part. You're pulling hard and you're trying to close distance so that you don't end up just like reaching for a knee to wrestle or do leg locks, and then somebody underhooks you or cross faces you or whatever. It's like I'm taking that first, right? I'm taking that first like barrier out of my way so I can get to my actual goal, which was the legs. However, so literally in nogi, it's just this, and based on their reaction, when people lean forward a lot, I like to try to elevate and like try to chase the back. When they lean back a lot, I really like to push, or I like to literally pull myself all the way underneath and fire into guard, okay? So we have like pull yourself under, dummy sweep, or just kind of wrestle the corner. They're really simple to do, actually, okay? Any questions on these? Let's go ahead and go down real quick. So again, if they just walk up to you, don't worry about it at all. Just enter wrestling, leg locks, whatever. Most, at least half decent people, are in like a more bent over stance, and the first thing they're gonna try to do is make connection with their upper body. So as I come in, when he finds the cross grip in the elbow. Now see how as I'm super strong, I can pull him into my own dummy sweep. If people pull away like that, as I pull really hard, it pulls him into me, and he could have slid underneath right there, or he could have dummy sweeped me by opening up his feet, or he could tap my knee with the bottom of his foot and just pull my hand down and just wrestle around the corner. So it's kind of reactionary, right? If you pull really hard and it feels like they're falling, you should just wrestle. If you pull really hard and they pull really hard, you have now time to slide underneath, or you can kind of like hang on them and like let yourself be pulled underneath people, and then we're chasing, okay? Questions on this? Literally the same exact thing. The only difference is that. Only difference, okay? Sometimes when people make the initial cross grip on the pant leg to pass guard, I'll break it before they can set up anything, and then I'll keep my own cross grip on their sleeve, and then I'll play this exact sequence. It's a simple one. Or if people reach initially for your collar, instead of the legs, they come here, I'll make my initial cross grip, I'll catch their elbow, and then see how he's like ready because I'm trying to rip away. It just sucked him under me, and now I'm ready to be attacked, whatever. Very simple, simple. Questions? No. All right, let's get it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Traditional guards, whatever you want to call it. So the first one's closed guard. On bottom and top, there's very easy options. On bottom, there's like 100 different submissions and sweeps I could do off this. The most traditional to me is aggressively using your hips to chase the back on the cross grip. You can open your legs and dive under the leg and then force this omoplata position. You can take the cross grip and then you can sit up, punching the hand, and then almost place their hand on the mat and then do like a hip bump sweep. There's so many different options. The main thing is just in closed guard, I want their hands not on me, So with the cross grip, I could either use it to punch out and pull my knees in, or I could use it to pull across and chase the back. Those are the two simple ones. I have a bunch of tricks, like when people have their hands like actually gripping on me, I use my hips to force this wrist in, and then I make my cross grip, and then I figure four. I break the grip, and then I use my knees and my hips to chase the back. And now we're hunting the back from there. That's the easy one, and the main reason I like this one is because when I do this and I pull, really strong people will try to pull out of this, and in the middle of them pulling out of it, you punch the hand and you have a triangle choke. And that's why it's one of my favorite sequences, is because it leads like A, B, just like that. And then the other one, we turn a little bit. When I'm doing this is when you chase, people will post their hand on the mat to post and get their base, and I'll arm lock like instantly. And I do those all the time, like super commonly I do that. Go ahead and go to your back real quick. So the second you're in close guard, when I'm here, he makes that cross grip, his wrist goes under. When he pops his grip, he can either go that way with my hand or this way. When he goes this way, if I pull back really hard, all he's gotta do is pull in my head. Yeah. Pull on the head to bring their head down to make the triangle easy. Now shoot it, yeah, see? It's such a simple triangle choke. If they don't react, you chase the back. If they pull real hard, you have a triangle. And then if they post their hand on the mat, you have that little gable gripping arm crush.
So the way you come in for that triangle there.
To climb the corner is a lot harder than learning to just naturally chase the back. So every single time I'm in close guard, again, first step is a cross grip. We're here, we're breaking, we're chasing. I grab their armpit and I really try to like lock my arm in, and then I shrimp one time. And based on their reaction, see, I can't chase the back here because he put his arm down, and now we just collect and we arm crush. Yeah, because he's resisting a lot. If he pulls the arm that I have gripped, if he pulls that back really hard while I'm doing this, I just let it go. And now we have the try. And then if he doesn't resist either, he doesn't post, when I shrimp the one time, I catch the far shoulder, and then I just power half, and it just cranks him into the regular back control. You can also do this. I do this a lot because I think it's fun. Hips, here, shrimp one time, and I go like this. And then people try to turn into me while I lift my hips up, and when they do, I catch the arm, and you turn belly down on an arm bar.
So on that power half, like, so I notice it kind of like stretches like the back.
It does,
So,
yep.
like, if at my level, right, if someone were to like.
It's not a submission.
Okay,
Yeah. If they tap, then
execute on something
sucks for them. Yeah, it's not considered a. If you full Nelson somebody and they tap, you'll get disqualified. But power halves are A-okay. Does that make sense though for close guard? Yeah. Close guard's pretty straightforward. So half guard. When we're in half, what do you think we're gonna do? We're gonna make a cross grip. So when I make this grip, it's the same thing as like standing. I basically have the cross grip, I have the elbow. The only difference now is I'll kind of give some type of like push or pull, right? I'm trying to use my toes, a flexed foot behind their hip to help me almost hook the back of his hip so that I can either kick or kind of pull myself up and around the corner so I can chase the back. And anytime I do this, I'm trying to force myself up and clear a bunch of space. And I'll do this in nogi too. People will, even when they like weave their arm underneath, in nogi I'll reach underneath and pull people's arm out, and then I'll kick and I'll pin their wrist to the mat and I'll chase the back. And any time I feel, as I do this, if I feel this arm get pulled back really hard, I'll grab their belt and pull them into me. And then I just tilt my knees and I sweep people over the top for the John Wayne sweep. It's a very, very, very easy sweep to accomplish. So the second I'm here, I'm finding this. If they weave, if I have my knees together and he weaves, he's got me. So when you initially are in half guard, I've got to be, like real quick, I've got to initially be kind of open. So the second, and my shin pointing up, the second I feel him start to weave, you can kick and you can pull, and you can actually attack people here if you're good at attacking. But most people, as I pull, they'll kind of start looking to circle their arm in front, and the second it's in front, I make my cross grip, and I'm kicking off the back, and I'm chasing the back. If they don't do anything, I chase the back. If right here he postures up and pulls his hand in, I punch it in. I fall back, and then I just tilt my knees. And you have the John Wayne sweep. And now we're coming up, and we're passing. Because cross grips are stupid and easy to do. Yeah. So it's literally just chasing the back, go ahead and go down. It's literally just chase the back, And if they resist at all, just like the arm drag from close guard, if they resist at all, you're gonna push their hand into their stomach and then just sit to the far side. So the second I get here, this shin should almost be like hooking up in the armpit like this. Because once I'm able to literally push the knees together, it's a lot harder to make the cross grip. So when I'm here, especially, he needs my hand either to be here, because some people will rest here and he can just reach up and grab it. And now he's ready, he's kind of hooking and pulling. If I pull back and I do this, trying to flatten him out, all he's gotta do is tilt to the side and fall to his butt. Yeah, it's so stupid simple. Like, it's actually kind of annoying how easy it is to do because it makes me stop wanting to do all the traditional stuff. When I do this, all he has to do is grab my elbow or the sleeve and pull as he kicks a little bit. And as this happens, now they're kind of like in this resistance battle, and then he just makes this cross grip, he catches the elbow, and he's just wrestling. Yeah, he's wrestling the corner. If I don't do anything, he's gonna finish that whole sequence. It's very, very simple sequence to do on bottom. Any questions for the bottom guy? Same thing, nogi, I just grab the wrist. I do the exact same sequence. It's really dumb. On top, you can do the pant leg and the traditional sleeve or collar. It's real strong. It works. My trick to it is you bring your toes forward and your knee up, and then you turn your knee sideways over their knee, and then it's very easy to pull your leg out and through. Don't try to sprawl. Sprawling allows the other person to push with both his legs and arms and just re-guard completely. I want to crowd space. So when I do this, I'm here, my knee comes forward, and then I turn my knee sideways, and then you pass. The trick, right? This is a cross grip, so I could leave it here. The cool one to me is this. When I reach, most people block. If he lets me grab up here on his collar, or if he lets me grab his head, he's messed up. So most people block. When people block, I pass it to my hand underneath. And now I can either long step like we did standing, or I can do the same pass. But he's very screwed here. And you can actually paper cut or choke people with that grip, and they can't do anything about it. So the trick is, I can be traditional and just do this and grab the collar. If I do this and he blocks my collar grip, I'm gonna grab his hand and pull it and feed it to my arm that's under the leg. Now I'm passing the exact same way, and I'll do it with the collar. Now he has no choice. Very, very, very hard to stop that passing sequence. It's so stupid simple to do, like, it's dumb. But again, we're both just kind of fighting for cross grips, right? Especially in the gi. In nogi, it's the same fucking thing. I'm reaching underneath, I'm weaving, and I'm catching the head, and you're going. If I can ever pass that wrist in, it's an easy guard pass. Simple, simple. Questions on this?
So on that pass from the standing, so I like to bury my head into their stomach sometimes.
You're talking about the leg drag from standing? Or are you talking about from what I just showed?
From what you just showed.
Uh-huh.
So, and it kind of flattens them out. Is that like a good, is that still good to do? Or?
Yep, that's correct. It's just I'm being more specific on the grip fighting. When I do this pass, traditionally, it's pant leg, and I grab right next to, right under where the ear is, as like a best case scenario. When I do this, both my elbows come back like I'm about to go Super Saiyan, right? I do this, both my elbows come back, and my head buries itself in his shoulder, and I get on my toes, and then I just turn my knee, and the pass is super easy, right? But it's the same exact thing. When I do this, and I reach, and he catches my hand, and now I just pull the grip in, and now I do the exact same thing. I bury my head, both my elbows come back, I bury my head, I get on my tiptoes, and then I just turn my knee sideways, and then I pummel, and now we're past our partner's guard. Yeah.
It feels like it's easier for you to win that cross grip battle in half guard because you're just like chilling. Like
for the pant leg, yes.
Yeah. Like
it's really hard to do it.
This feels like a losing battle for me here. So what would you recommend? Like if they get a cross grip and I get a cross grip.
When I'm on bottom and I have my legs open and they reach, you're leaving this susceptible. I'll pull you in.
Okay.
Like I want you close now because my like legs behind your shoulder, and I'm still. You haven't beaten this space yet. If we were chest to chest and you had this, see, you've beaten this space. It's a problem. You haven't beaten this space yet. When you grab here, I can attack.
Yeah.
Now Kimuras, wrist locks, arm crushes.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension there.
There's a shit ton, yeah. It's your fault because you put your arm there. I just hit your elbow and I stomp.
Okay, so as the bottom player from that initial inset, then you have the higher amount of friction to really get on what you need.
Yeah, again, because he hasn't dominated this space with this left arm, my collar, all this. I feel great here. Right now, if he sprawls and opens my half guard without a grip, I feel fine. No hands. I'm just re-guarding. Because nothing stops my torso from twisting and moving and backing away. The second we go here and he catches my collar, and my torso can't twist. So the second he starts turning or sprawling, when I push, he's still on top of me. So I feel safe when I'm in this neutral zone when people reach because there's nothing here. So we're stomping and we're pulling and now we're attacking immediately for...
So it's just a same side grip on the elbow initially.
And you just kick and pull real hard.
And then you go to your cross grip after you
Yeah.
kick.
There's a bunch of other stuff too, like when people go underneath and they're really wide like this, I can play lasso guard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just grab their fingertips and their wrist and you hip in and then you just open your legs and now you're in lasso. So you can change to other guards, but just so you know, in half guard, the war that is being fought, the battles that are being killed over is this battle here. If I can control this part, that's the real, but this isn't really the battle. This is a fight. This one doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, see, and then your leg can just go over my back. But if you do that and I go chest to chest at the same time, you're screwed.
Yeah.
That's the battle's here.
I have to control this.
Which is why I like this technique so much, is because when I go for this battle and he touches me, now there's nothing stopping this battle anymore. That's why this technique is so great, is because it's like, oh, what's his goal now? And when he does this, I'm closing that space still. So I can do any version of whatever pass I want. Yeah. Cool. Again, cross grip battles. Spooky. Any questions on this? Easy half guard shit? No. All right, let's give it a shot on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so last thing, I'm just gonna fire off a couple of quick things to say. So from bottom mount, right? I hate this trap and roll. I think it sucks because even with me pinching really hard, if he throws his head backwards and then pulls his arm out, he can just rip the arm out. But the cross grip and the elbow, he can rip as hard as he wants. Like, he's not getting his hand out, and then I can just take my head over the shoulder and I can just look where I'm going, right? My coach always used to say, look into the future. So all you have to do is, like, if I want to bridge this way, you just literally move your head out of the way and look, and then just turn and go all the way onto your toes. But in the gi, trap and rolling is really easy because you just need the cross grip and the elbow. 1, 2, and you go. There's really not a lot to that. The hardest part about that sequence is getting good at just bridging high. It's just getting your toes close to your butt, getting your neck out of the way, and then just looking and just going all the way to your toes. It's actually super simple to do. On top, I will say this. I do this trap a lot where I'll go to cross collar choke people, right? I'm trying to do a collar choke. And I feel like when they have both hands to defend, I struggle. You can do the Gordon Ryan thing where you cross grip and pin people's hand, but something that I'll actually do is I'll cross grip to pin their hand so that they resist really hard and pull their hand into their chest. And when they do, I stuff their elbow and I put my knee over their elbow. And then I'll pin people's head down and I'll cross collar people, and the choke comes on super fast because I have the arm trapped with the inside crook of my knee. So my trick is I'm trying to pin, and if he resists, it makes it so that this elbow is super tight, which means when I push it down and I put my knee over it, for 3 seconds, I have a free, deep cross collar grip. And now all I have to do is make a secondary grip that braces into his neck and lean on my wrists, and you get the tap. All right, cross collar chokes are not about how much you can pull. It's about how deep and strong can you securely set the first grip and feed the gi to your hand. Place your hand deep, feed the gi to your hand. My secondary grip can literally just be me tapping the shoulder, and when I finish, it's me putting my hips and my stomach over my own wrists to push my wrists into their throat. This is how Keenan Cornelius does his, and it's how I do mine because he said he has bad fingers, and I have bad fingers, especially since I tore that one. So now I just place my wrist, I feed my hand, I just grab whatever I can. You can grab the actual shoulder, you can just cup, and now I just come together and drive my wrists down, and you have the choke, right? And my trick to this sequence is just pin. If he lets me pin, now we just walk the arms up, attack arm bars, attack the back, attack the gift wrap, head and arm choke, whatever you want. When he resists really hard, I just push here. I've got 3 seconds. Because that's how long it takes them usually to pop that arm out. And now I've already solidified my deep, like threatening grip to go for my choke. So that's like the cheat code to that is as you go there, you just place your knee over the inside of the elbow, and now they have no hand and they can't stop you from making a cross collar grip. And now you can just choke people. Diego, he was like, the last time I sparred him, he was like, oh man, I did really good against you today. And I was like, okay, Diego. And the next time after that I sparred him, I cross-collared him from mount 7 times in a row because I was upset that he said that to me. Also, I've had in my mind what I was planning on teaching for this seminar for a while, knowing that that was part of it. So I was like, oh, let me practice this for a little bit. And it worked every single time. And he's like, no, not again, not again.
If they like aggressively bridge when you get that cross collar in, are you just posting with your head? Or are you basing?
When you initially make a cross collar grip, your goal is you initially do this. You lean in opposition of your hand. So it's my right hand. I really need to lean to the left really hard.
Okay.
Yeah. If I ever feel like they're gonna bridge, I gotta send myself this way. Because like I just said, what's the escape from mount? It's a cross grip on the wrist and an elbow. When I do this, he can immediately make the cross grip, which is one of the reasons I like setting this up from this, because he can't make the cross grip.
Yeah, even if I do it.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's why I said, like, you can get out, but I've got a couple seconds of me squeezing right here until he slips his elbow out of this position. And in that time, I already made a deep grip. And one of the other cool things about this is when you do this, they kind of have to like lift their shoulder and their head that way, which kind of opens that avenue for my choke. But yeah, when I initially make the grip, if I feel like you're gonna bridge this way, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you bridge really, really hard, I'm just gonna open my mount, go ahead, bridge really hard. I just open my mount and then I feed the gi right here and I start choking. Yeah, there's a lot of cool little tricks right there. But again, at least for this part, you're kind of just battling for the cross grip again. Like I'm battling for the cross collar. If the hands ever go up, abandon this completely. Arm bar them and take their back. Forget about what I'm saying. If the hands ever are up, abandon it and go right to that. But otherwise, initially, he's fighting for that cross grip and I'm fighting for that cross collar. And if I can ever trick him into bringing his arms up too high, I'll just arm bar him or take his back or whatever. But this is one of my favorite sequences where I go for pin his arms down. If he lets me, we just crawl the arms up, arm bar back take, traditional triangle, whatever you want. If he doesn't, we can momentarily trap with that cross grip, catch a good cross collar, and then we're on the hunt. But yeah, on bottom, it's really simple. Just cross grip and elbow and go.
I was going to ask for a nogi. Would that be a good setup for like a necktie?
It's actually a good setup to punch choke people and to get them to do this. So in nogi, I'll do this to people where I'll try to like pin their arm and he'll pull his arms in, and I'll do this and I'll put my head here and open his neck, and then I'll try to Ezekiel him. And as I'm going for my Ezekiel, if he defends, I'll slide up high, and then I get my shoulders and my chest involved, and then I try to choke, and then I try to do the traditional thing again. So it's really just, again, like I said, I'm gonna go for a choke, and as I go for the choke, if he comes up to defend, anytime the elbows get in line or higher than the shoulders, it's time to just slide up and crush high into high mount, S mount, arm bar triangle, back take, whatever you want. But for both nogi and gi, you can aggressively attack chokes. There's like 7 different variations of punch choke, nogi Ezekiels. If you find one that's at least kind of threatening, even if it wouldn't tap a good person, they'll react. And then when they react, we take the space they gave us and we start marching up the body. Heavy shoulder, heavy pressure, heavy bicep, heavy chest, all that good jazz. But yeah, so it's literally the same game in nogi. Boom, trap, get low and try to like choke him with your fist, with this kind of like squeezing Craig Jones version of the nogi Ezekiel. And the second you feel them come up, slide up higher. Take that space. Carl Provic, Silver Fox BJJ, he's the dude who I stole that concept from like years ago, and it's been one of my favorite things ever. He's a little bit older, so he can't like crush through people. So strategically, he like goes for the choke, and the second they lift their elbows up, he kind of just plants his hand and slides the corner, and then he attacks. And I was like, dude, that's so smooth. Like now, live, you got to be a little more umph about it, but the concept is right there. So it's cool. But yeah, that makes sense though, that game from mount, right? And then on the back, real quick, I'm always looking for cross grips to trap arms. That's the number one way. When I do it with the same side, you can do it. Marcelo Garcia did it. He would get people's arm way off to the side and he would catch. If you do it like still in front of the body, your own arm will block yourself. Once their hand is outside of their hip line, you can catch and pull your own arm out and you'll still be successful. But cross gripping, because this is the same side grip, cross gripping takes that part of the game out of the sequence. And all you have to do once you get your cross grips is to push them between your knees. Right, his shoulders are now between my knees. Very simple. I can either hike him back up and then go for chokes, or you can just immediately start attacking triangles and arm bars from there. But I'm looking again for cross grips. You can start by trapping the first hand and choking with the second, and the second he defends with this hand, I just punch my own hand down, cross grips, push him down between my knees. Here's my trap, here's my chokes, here's triangles and arm bars, all that jazz. And when you're defending on the back, it's my first thought is cross gripping the choking hand. It's not this. This doesn't help you. It's funny enough, when he gets the choke deep, whether it's gi or no gi, I do need to use my same side hand to peel. To hold, I need the cross grip. So the second he takes the back, initially, my cross grip is the one that defends. This hand is helping remove hooks. Well, I can also use it up here to help if I'm ever in danger. I'm peeling the choke off, but when I lock it in, I'm always locking it in with this hand. I'm never locking it in here. I'm always cross gripping. Same thing. And now we're removing, falling to the side, doing all that. So literally all the main positions, and we could go through basically every single guard in jiu-jitsu, and I could show you how I attack cross grips from like all of them. Like even lasso, like top and bottom, I use cross grips. Even spider guard, I use cross grips. Like they're stupid. They're very, very strong. And like I said, like rather than thinking about things so much as like A, B, C, D with like the technique, most of the time when I'm sparring, especially if I have something like that in mind, now it doesn't matter what guard I'm in, I'm just thinking cross grip. And then I'm just like going from there. Side control is like the one exception because you really need to fight for like inside space and like get really tight with your partner and underhook crossface, whatnot. And pretty much everything else though, you can find a scenario where it's like, oh, I can just cross grip him right here and I'm either safe or I'm ready to attack.
Yeah. I like that. It lets you figure things out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can play with stuff. And one of the other main things about it is if I'm cross gripping, it's killing whatever neutral game you are playing. Like most games are neutral. Collar tie, 50-50. One of you have to break the position somehow and like get out, whatever. The second they collar tie, you cross grip the wrist and you turn. Even if you don't go to the full Russian tie, you could just do what I did where you just, the second the hand pops out, you grab the neck and now you're basically in the middle of a shot. Like some people I know would, as they went to the Russian, they would just like palm people in the head and then snap them really hard in the Russian tie and then take their shot right out. Like a traditional wrestler, it's like snap shot. They would just snap out of the Russian like immediately, but they would never sit in like the double collar ties because you're just hanging on each other. And especially in jiu-jitsu where black belts have 10-minute matches, you can't just hang on people for 10 minutes and then expect to go fight another match afterwards. There's no way. So I like to cause action and make things happen. And then again, top or bottom, if I'm cross gripping you and you're not cross gripping me, I'm winning and you're not. So it's pretty simple. Whether it's cross gripping the pant legs or cross gripping the upper body, like there's a lot of options. A lot of options. Any questions on stuffs?
It seems like when you cross grip, it opens the back.
So a very easy concept is if I can get like under or behind your elbows, I'm to your back. Cross grips make it very easy to get behind the elbow. because you're just pulling it across, you're chasing, exactly. And as I showed today, there's a couple options where as we try to get behind the elbow to the back, when you give me too much resistance, you open yourself up to dumbass things like the dummy sweep or like pulling yourself into leg locks. Because as we pull real hard, they're like, no, I don't want you to just take my back. I pull back, and then they like launched you under their legs for whatever the technique is. So again, like now we can punish them. Same thing with the John Wayne sweep from half guard. We try to chase the back. They pull away and they drive their elbow into their stomach to not let us have their back. Now we just turn the corner on them and we John Wayne them. So again, like you said, chasing the back, they resist, we have options. That's just the person on bottom. So a lot of options, guys. And one of the main things now is if I see you in class and you're sparring, now I can just yell cross grip. I don't even care where you're at. And you should be able to at least think about doing something, right? When you're on the back, stuffing it. When you're attacking the back, cross gripping the wrists. When you're on mount, you can cross grip to try to push the hands down or pin their arm. When you're on bottom mount, you trap the wrist, bridge and roll. Half guard, you're fighting for that cross sleeve. Cross pant grip, standing, cross pant grip. Wherever you're at. Yeah. Like,
that's what I really like about it. But like I was saying, it lets you figure things out. So for the next 2 months, I'm just going to cross grip people and then figure stuff out.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's a lot of this stuff was that whole that half guard sequence. No one showed me that. I've seen the John Wayne sweep before, made sense, didn't understand how to get to it. And one day, for some reason, I just started chasing the back with that cross grip. I think mainly I was trying to prevent people from putting their hand under my leg because I didn't like that. So I just caught their sleeve and just held it with that cross grip. And I was like, you're not allowed to put your hand there. And then we would just kind of battle there awkwardly. And then one of the times I felt someone drive into me, I felt that John Wayne click off. And I was like, oh, no kidding. And then also like wrestling around the corner with it was super easy to do. So yeah, it was just kind of like a feeling thing. Like I was like, oh, he can't get to the one pass that everyone loves to do here, the weave pass. So now I can just counter him and so forth and so forth. And then I fought people way better than me in positions like lasso guard, right? Like if, go to your back real quick. I fought people better than me. I put them in lasso because I'm trying to practice lasso guard, and they just did this. And I was like, okay. And then the second they did this, I was like, uh-oh. It's the same pass as we did from standing, like the one with the long step with the cross pant grip. I was like, uh-oh, like I've seen that pass before, and he's deep on it, and he has my sleeve, so I can't do anything. Cross grip, right? So again, a lot of people have beaten me on these positions, or I've seen and studied them before, and then it all kind of like clicked that I was like, oh, they're everywhere. Just like, that's the whole point. I'll just teach a seminar on that. So I just decided to do that. So, yeah, man. If you guys have any other questions, I'm here. If you guys wanted to spar or something, doesn't matter to me. I'm down for whatever. Or we'll mop up and do all that stuff. And if you guys, between now and the first Sunday of next month, if you guys want a specific topic, let me know and I'll make the topic for the seminar. I'll make the seminar. My plan was, if we actually had a bunch of people, was to make like one of the straw poll things or whatever, and just like have whoever showed up be the people who got to vote on what the topic of the next seminar is. Maybe I'll tell people that for next time or something. But yeah, if you guys want something specific out of a seminar, let me know. The plan's to do these for free.